Hi. So the third rule for most of you will be something to do with protein. And it's likely that it'll be about protein in your breakfast or protein throughout the day. And that'll very much depend on who you are and how you respond to foods and what your goal is. Why is protein so important? So protein, our bodies are made of protein. So fats and carbohydrates, they essentially provide energy, and we can shift between two systems in using them. But protein's what we're made of. Okay, we physically, our bones, our skin, our blood, our eyes, our hair, it's all protein. And so we have to eat protein to provide our body with what it needs so that it can do or exist, so it can be a body. Now the problem is you can't store protein. So your body has a constant need for it to be coming in through your mouth so that it can use the protein that it needs to do what it needs to do. Now fats and carbohydrates are slightly different because our body can take them, and if they have an excess at any time, they just package them up and put them into fat stores. But protein's different because it doesn't quite store in that way. Yes, there are exceptions, and I'm giving a slightly simplified version, but protein, the message is that protein is really, really important. The other thing that's really unique about protein is that it's satiating, so it fills us up and we don't want to constantly eat and snack all day. So in light of rule number 2, protein becomes quite important. You need to have enough protein in your meal to be able to get to the next meal without snacking. How much protein? Very much depends on you, your genetics, and your body weight. It's very difficult to give you a specific number, and I will have talked about this in your individual rule setting meeting. But broadly speaking, the amount of protein you should have in a meal is the size of the palm of your hand. So if you're having a steak, it should be that big. If you're having chicken, it should be that big. If you're having salmon, the same. And usually that's, when you see salmon cut up in fillets in the supermarket, they're roughly that size, which is roughly 100 grams by supermarket weight. Now remember, that doesn't mean it's 100 grams of protein because a lot of that is actually water. So the fillet of salmon that you'll get in the supermarket, that will weigh 140 grams, but it will have roughly 20 to 30 grams of protein. The reason protein is so satiating is partly because our body, once it's got enough, it says, I don't need any more food, I've got what I need to function. But also because it sort of lines your stomach or puts a plug or a hole into your stomach. It puts a sort of plug in your stomach so that it sort of fills up your stomach and it stops other foods having quite such a significant impact. So it sort of dampens the effect of any carbohydrates or sugars, but mostly it sort of goes into your stomach and sits there and is a bit more slow. And so in that way, you feel more full. So that's the third rule. It's all about protein. Usually I'll focus on protein in breakfast because that then sets us up for the day. We've got enough protein to go about our day, and we've broken that overnight fast. But as always, if you've got any questions, just get in touch. And don't forget, I've got a 1-page protein handout that you should have received that will give you a guide as to the amount of protein in common foods. Make sure you stick this on your fridge because it's useful as a guide. And on that note, I should say, protein should be determined by your appetite, not by what I tell you. Okay, your body will tell you how much protein it needs. You must listen to it. So eat good amount of protein for breakfast, but for the rest of the day, you must follow your appetite. It's not a science, it's an art, and your body is the best determinant of how much you need. I hope that's helpful. Get in touch with any questions, and that's rule number 3. Thank you.